Welcome to the channel. I'm the Scottish Astrologer, and in this video I want to talk to you all about the full snow moon which takes place in the zodiac sign of Virgo, and what this could mean to you personally, and also what the snow moon is showing for us all in general. So to begin with, the moon represents individually our soul, mind and emotions, and depending on which of the 12 houses the moon happens to fall into on your natal chart, this will show which area of life will come into focus through the spotlight of the moon, so to speak. Now, this life area shown by a particular house will come into major focus over the next month, or possibly even a little beyond that. Now, if you take a look at your natal chart and check to see which house 8 degrees 57 of Virgo falls into, if it lands in the first house, then the spotlight or focus, so to speak, will be on your appearance or body in some way. If it lands in the second house, then about money and material goods or material well-being in general. If it lands in the third house, then about communication, intelligence or siblings. If it lands in the fourth house, then about the family or the home. If it lands in the fifth house, then children or things that you love in general, or things that bring you joy, such as your hobbies, creations, leisure, etc. Now, if it lands in the sixth house, then health or daily life or daily work. If the moon lands in your seventh house, then marriage or partnerships or contracts or associations in general. If the moon lands in your eighth house, then transformation, battles, sexuality or power, or all things hidden or unknown. If the full moon lands in your ninth house on your natal chart, then the focus will be on spirituality or travels or attainment of higher knowledge. If it lands in your 10th house, then the focus will be career, social success or destiny, or success in business or even fame. If it lands in the 11th house, then the focus is friends, projects, and last but certainly not least, if the moon lands in your 12th house, then the focus is on enemies or fears or addictions, difficulties and ordeals, or just coming to the end of something. Or it could even put the focus on your dreams or sleep in general. And of course you will know personally what precise area of the specific house that you are affected by. Now, moving on to the general energies involved with this full snow moon and how this can affect us in general collectively. So the chart on screen now shows the moment of this full snow moon in Virgo. Now, the moon also represents the people collectively, okay, in general, and the zodiac sign of Virgo is linked with health and everyday life and work, as it is, of course, the natural sign of the sixth house, being the sixth sign of the zodiac. Now, Virgo is also a sign of giving and helping. It's a sign of service in general. So with all this full moon to me is clearly linked with the health and everyday lives of the people. And so this is showing the main focus of the people being on vaccines and vaccine passports, and whether vaccines are the way to protect our health, and whether vaccine passports are the way to return to everyday life. And people will be debating this point and sharing their views and arguing, agreeing and disagreeing over these issues, which has of course already begun and is now beginning to really heat up or ramp up, especially over the topic of vaccine passports, as governments and businesses begin to either implement them or review the idea, which I, for one, am totally against. I totally disagree with that. Totally disagree with such a concept as a vaccine passport to return to everyday life, or a domestic vaccine passport to be more precise, to return to everyday life. And I believe where it is implemented, it will fail in not very much time at all, as there is a square aspect between the moon and Rahu, the north node of the moon, in exaltation in Gemini. This is showing a real split and squaring off of the people's opinions and thoughts regarding getting a vaccine or not, and also a real division in opinion and thought regarding these vaccine passports or domestic vaccine passports being implemented or potentially implemented for some nations. And with this real division and split in the people's opinions on the topics I just mentioned, this is the reason, obviously, these rules cannot be implemented for very long. Because, again, there's far too many people who are against them. There isn't a unified opinion on these. And so that's going to make it very difficult for governments, businesses to implement for very long. Now, moving on, as there is a tight trine aspect between Uranus in the zodiac sign of Taurus and the moon, this shows more madness, shall we say, when it comes to money and material goods, with all the out of control money printing by central banks and governments still going on and increasing, okay, heating up, ramping up, getting much worse. And also with all the volatility and overvaluation of stocks in the stock market, and with the wild value swings we've all been seeing in cryptocurrencies, this is showing a wild roller coaster ride towards the collapse of this current financial system is continuing and ramping up even more. Because obviously the more money, the quicker they print all this money, the more money they print, and the faster time they're printing it like they are, the quicker we move into inflation, then hyperinflation, and then the ultimate collapse of fiat currency. Now, moving on to the last planet, excluding the sun, of course, the luminary, the sun, which is always energetically connecting with a full moon in opposition. So, apart from that, excluding that, the last planet to be energetically connecting with this snow moon, which is Venus, who happens to be in exaltation as she is located in the zodiac sign of Pisces, a sign she loves to be in. Now, Venus is the planet of love, beauty and children, and she is making a difficult opposition aspect with her enemy and only other goddess of the heavens, the moon. And this to me is showing a real difficulty for most people to love society or the world in general as it currently is, or to see any beauty in it anymore. And this is especially true and especially the case for the children, okay, and the youth. This whole situation, pandemic situation we are all currently living through, is especially difficult and tough for them. Obviously it's tough for all of us, tough for everyone, but especially for them. Now, this full moon is known as the snow moon for obvious reasons. So expect more snow, record-breaking snow in my opinion, even in places not usually known for it, such as Texas, etc., like we've seen. Now, this snow moon is quite a late one, okay? Last year it occurred the beginning of February, and this year it's at the very end of February. So we can expect a lot more snow this March, okay, for many different nations. And I'm not saying the snow is going to come with the snow moon, but for everywhere. But I'm saying over the next moon cycle, so from maybe this full moon to the next new moon and maybe beyond, even one whole month, full moon to full moon. Okay, from this full moon to the next, at some point we're going to see repeating snow like we've already seen earlier this month, in my opinion. So keep your eye out for that. Okay folks, I think that's all for this video. Huge thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.